The Sutra of Innumerable Meaning. World-honored one, if the Bodhisattva Mahasattvas want to accomplish perfect enlightenment quickly, what doctrine should they practice? What doctrine makes Bodhisattva Mahasattvas attain perfect enlightenment quickly? The Sutra of Innumerable Meanings begins in typical Mahayana fashion. Awesome grandiosity. Here, I'm going to use it as a foundation to introduce my understanding of various Mahayana concepts and practices. Let's look at the sutra. Once the Buddha was staying at the city of royal palaces, at Vulture's Peak, with a huge assemblage of great monks, in all 12,000. There were 80,000 Bodhisattva Mahasattvas. There were gods, dragons, yakshas, Gandharvas, Asuras, Garudas, Kimnaras, and Maharagas, besides all the bhikshus, the monks, the bhikshunis, the nuns, the upasakas, the laymen, and the upasikas, the laywomen. There were great wheel-rolling kings, small wheel-rolling kings, and kings of the golden wheel, silver wheel, and other wheels. Further kings and princes, ministers and people, men and women, and great rich persons, each accompanied by 100,000 myriad followers. They went up to the Buddha, made obeisance at his feet, burned incense, and scattered flowers. After they variously worshipped, they retired and sat to one side. Sounds perfectly wild. Bodhisattva Mahasattvas, gods, dragons, yakshas. What are these things? As you can see, a diverse multitude of beings have assembled around the Buddha to hear the wonderful teaching. But for now, let's just focus on Bodhisattva Mahasattvas. Although, you can follow the links in the blog post to learn more. What are Bodhisattva Mahasattvas? They are great, Maha, beings, Sattvas, on the path of awakening, Bodhi. Sounds like they are some kind of super mystical beings far removed from mundane reality, right? Well, no. To put it simply, we are these Bodhisattva Mahasattvas, and actually, we are also all the other types of beings as well. Let me explain. Interdependence. Remember the concept of non-self? Or have you heard people speak of emptiness? The sound of these terms, non-self and emptiness, I think they're just a bit too depressing for our Western ears. Let's just remember that emptiness basically means that all things are dependent on and made up of other things. And let's remember that non-self doesn't mean that we don't exist. It means that we don't exist as isolated things. So let's forget about these terms for a bit and just say it like it is. Let's talk about interdependence. There's not one single isolated, self-created, self-supported thing anywhere to be found in all of existence. This is non-atman, anatta. This is impermanence. There's only a mind-boggling complex state of inexpressibly beautiful interbeing. All living and non-living things in all the multiverses are completely interdependent. The concept of Indra's net is useful for visualizing this. Just Google Indra's net. We all have Buddha nature, so Even Buddhas and Bodhisattva Mahasattvas are made of non-Buddha and non-Bodhisattva Mahasattva elements. They exist within us. We exist within them. If we make the choice to manifest our Buddha nature, or our Bodhisattva Mahasattva nature, and to remain within samsara, we will be Buddhas or Bodhisattva Mahasattvas for the duration of the time we choose to touch that aspect of being. Getting in touch with our Buddha nature. One way to get in touch with our Buddha nature is to bow before images of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Bowing before images of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas is not some sort of theistic religious submission. It is not to appease the wrath of the Buddhas or to gain the Buddha's favor. But then again, maybe it is a submission in some sense. While bowing, we are letting go of our concept of isolated existence and the accompanying symptoms of greed, hatred, and delusion, and submitting to the awareness of the interdependence of all things, and tasting the fruits of generosity, compassion, and wisdom. Bowing before these images is a practice that helps us to recognize that those beings exist within and among us. It helps us to get in touch with their essence, to be mindful of their qualities. If compassion and wisdom are our goals, then such a practice can be very helpful. To generate the determination to constantly make the choice to be in touch with your own Buddha nature is a supremely compassionate and wise endeavor. Although bowing is unnecessary, you could also just choose to embody the qualities of the various Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in every moment. Peace is every step. Buddha versus Bodhisattva Mahasattva. What is the difference between a Buddha and a Bodhisattva? Well, there are many ways to answer this question, and there will be better answers than the one I can offer. My short and feeble answer is this. A Buddha is a completely awakened being in a state of perfect non-duality, and the true nature of such a being is beyond description. It cannot be approached with the mind. The true nature of Buddha is beyond mere thought. A Bodhisattva is a being existing within the dualistic realm, samsara, the infinite multiverses in which we have our being and from which our awareness arises. They are capable of manifesting one or many of the infinite qualities of Buddha. Bodhisattvas are pieces of Buddha that exist within the realm of description. They do display qualities that can be understood, but still, their true nature, like the true nature of all beings, is Buddha. It is beyond mere thought, just like your own true nature. When bowing before an image of a Bodhisattva, you are recognizing your interdependence with that particular quality of awakened being. So, it is essential that you understand the quality of the Bodhisattva in front of which you bow. The Sutra of Innumerable Meanings mentions many Bodhisattvas. Let's just look at a few. Manjushri is an embodiment of Buddha's perfect wisdom. Avalokiteshvara is an embodiment of Buddha's perfect compassion, the one who regards the cries of the world, an expression of a Buddha's ability to listen deeply and soothe the suffering sentient beings thereby. Samantabhadra is an embodiment of the great power obtained through practice and meditation. Maitreya. It is said that Maitreya will be our world's next Buddha. This is Happy Buddha. Maitreya is a bodhisattva of true love. There are many others present at the time the Buddha gave this talk on innumerable meaning. 80,000 to be exact. But I don't really trust the English translation of their names, and I lack the concept to understand the nature of these 80,000 bodhisattvas. Some of their names are straightforward, but some seem more poetic, and I'm afraid their essence may be lost in translation. Some of these others include Bodhisattva ever zealous, Bodhisattva never stopping, Bodhisattva precious palm, Bodhisattva medicine king, Bodhisattva bold almsgiver, Bodhisattva precious moon, Bodhisattva moonlight, Bodhisattva full moon, Bodhisattva great power, Bodhisattva infinite power, Bodhisattva above the triple world, Bodhisattva Bhadrapala, Bodhisattva precious store, Bodhisattva leader. If you want to hear about many more Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, go take a look at the Avatamsaka Sutra, or it's also called the Flower Garland Sutra. It is quite beautiful. Short conclusion to this introduction. Just remember that these mystical beings are not far away. In this Sutra of Innumerable Meanings, Buddha is speaking to us. And yeah, it is true that to constantly be in touch with these supreme aspects of identity through all the ups and downs of day-to-day life is quite a feat. But don't let that deter you. You are a Buddha. Your own true nature is completely and perfectly awakened. You've just forgotten. All things, even spiritual teachings, exist in a state of interbeing with all other things. They are in a state of flux. They are impermanent. They are interdependent. There is no solid ground. So, now that we've covered some basic concepts, let's jump straight to the heart of this sutra. The Buddha said, "Children, this one doctrine is called the doctrine of innumerable meanings. A bodhisattva, if she wants to learn and master the doctrine of innumerable meanings, should observe that all laws, dharmas, or things, were originally, will be, and are in themselves void in nature and form. They are all interdependent. They are neither great nor small, neither appearing nor disappearing, neither fixed nor movable, and neither advancing nor retreating. They are non-dualistic, just emptiness. All concepts, all descriptions fall short of describing or grasping their true nature. The true nature of all things is beyond the grasp of the discriminating mind. All living beings, however, discriminate falsely. It is this, or it is that. The intellect knows by discrimination, under the assumption that things have isolated existence. And the mind says, it is advantageous, or it is disadvantageous. And due to this assumption, we begin to have preferences for some things over other things. Us beings entertain evil thoughts, make various evil intentions and actions, and thus transmigrate within the 6 realms of existence, and we suffer all manner of miseries, and we cannot escape from there during infinite kotis of kalpas. This process of discrimination drives the cycle of suffering for all eternity. Samsara is mental proliferation. Samsara is the activity of this discriminating mind. So, in other words, cognition, thinking, awareness, existence as we normally know it, is a process of division, discrimination, differentiation. Gnosis is the type of awareness that lacks the qualities of division, discrimination, and differentiation. Sometimes the intellect is symbolized by the sword. To know something is to divide it from what it is not, to discriminate it from the surrounding context. And to exist is, at root, a process of root consciousness speaking mantras to itself, such as, this is not that, black is not white, left is not right, up is not down, I am not you, I am not my environment. And these mantras continue. Root consciousness, God, or whatever you want to call it, has chosen, for whatever reason, to infinitely fragment itself into all these little partitions, us sentient beings, objects, patterns of energy, etc. And the root consciousness, Dharmakaya, God, whatever you want to call it, has chosen to dance a wild evolutionary dance that we see expressed as the struggle between entropy and life. The Sutra of Innumerable Meaning is an awesome invitation to look beyond this fragmentation, to undo the endless differentiation, to find rest, peace, and deep joy in the unity of all and in the illusory nature of our human, all too human concepts. Conclusion: this is enough rambling for today. I'll continue to walk through the Sutra of Innumerable Meaning in future posts, and I will keep pointing to non-dual awareness as it expresses itself in non-canonical Christian texts, as well as Buddhist texts. Eventually, we'll take a look at the Lotus Sutra, because the Sutra of Innumerable Meaning is often grouped together with the Lotus Sutra and the Sutra on the meditation of the Bodhisattva universal virtue, Samantabhadra. Together they are called the Threefold Lotus Sutra. Hopefully my rambling has not been confusing. My intention in speaking about this stuff is to help others like me, other Westerners who are excited by this wild kind of thinking, to expand their understanding of Mahayana Buddhism. And, by the way, I enjoy all the flavors of Buddhism and all the other mystic traditions. Bye-bye.